There's the Duke lineup for Chris Pollard, and they are going to face Isaac Silva. We talked a little bit about him already. The senior right-hander, a field where they won game number 30 on the season. 30 of their 41 wins this year have come here at Jack Coombs, and the first pitch is fouled off. A win. They made Murray State work.
Yeah, both these teams are very experienced college hitters.
And another foul ball.
And another foul ball. And you're going to see these guys will spoil good pitch after good pitch. It gets to be frustrating. And see the numbers: 38 foul balls, 14 three-ball counts, 7 full counts, 8 walks. They saw 171 pitches.
And here's pitch number 4, and that misses down. First one out of the zone for Isaac Silva. Silva started 2 games in Oxford last week, threw 150 pitches. Pitched against Georgia Tech, came back on 2 days rest against Ole Miss. And that start against Ole Miss was on Monday. So he's coming back 6 days later. The second start was better than the first. Lifted, and this is going to get out of play. So here is Wallace Clark battling. He was amazing at the Athens Regional. Had 9 hits, couple of homers, 3 runs batted in. He was the most outstanding player for Duke.
And even though he went 0 for 3 yesterday, found a way to get on base twice with a couple of walks.
Duke picking up where they left off yesterday, just challenging every pitch. And there you see A.J. Gracia. He's just aching to get into the batter's box after serving that 1-game suspension yesterday. Second team All-ACC, projected first rounder next year. Pitch number 8 of the first at bat, and it's going to be a full count.
And this is exactly when you draw up a lineup, a leadoff hitter, good at bat, long at bat, sees a lot of pitches.
Payoff pitch, lifted left field. Drifting back is Dan Tocken. Looks up into the sky and makes the catch. Good out for Wallace Clark as he really battled. And now here comes A.J. Gracia. Hard hats are out again today. And Gracia certainly embodies that mantra on this roster. Has really had a great second half of the season. And the crowd giving him a standing ovation.
I like that right there. Little baseballs hanging down.
1-0, club to center. Going back is Hogarth, still going back, looking up at the wall, goodbye home run. How about that return to the lineup? A.J. Gracia. Picking up where he left off in the regional final. Hit a home run his last at bat in Athens and leaves the yard here.
You can see what the MLB teams love about him at high pick next year. Gets a sinker, elevated out over, and hammers it.
Ben Miller, back-to-back jacks. .128 feet, 21st of the year for Miller as the Blue Devils go back-to-back here in the first.
Just a sweet left-handed swing. And then 1 pitch later, Ben Miller.
And now this is Jake Hyde, and he'll take inside.
This is a look at Ben Miller's swing. He had been bothered a little bit with this right hand coming off the bat early yesterday. That right hand stayed on that one, and he drives that ball to right center.
The ACC's leader in home runs. We talked about him going 0 for 5 yesterday, but he hit a couple of balls really hard, squared some balls up. And one pitch is all it takes for him to get back in the saddle here today.
Yeah, he hit 2 balls very hard yesterday, right on the screws and right at somebody. That was Miller's 15th of the 21 home runs have been against right-handed pitching.
And he'll put the hard hat on, as Gracia didn't get to wear it very long. And there's a strikeout. Jake Hyde goes down. Second out for Isaac Silva, his first K. And here comes Ben Rounds.
That's exactly how you do it. All right, you're going to give up home runs. It just is part of the game. But how you bounce back. Yeah, Miller ambushed him, but bounce back, get the next couple of guys out, settle in, and get back to work.
Here's Ben Rounds, 1 for 5 with an RBI double yesterday. Sprays this one down the line. Will it stay fair? No, it's foul. Not by much. Ben Rounds making a bid for extra bases.
Wow. Gets a little help. Dan Talkin out and left.
Ben Rounds moves from the 2 spot to the 5 hole today, with Gracia back. Rounds an Ivy League transfer from Harvard, one of 3 Ivy League transfers in this Duke lineup. That pitch is inside, 1-1. Rounds hit .403 last year for the Crimson, and you really have to tip your hat to Chris Pollard for how he has brought these transfers out of the portal in and plugged them in, and they've all had great success here in year 1.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, you walk out of an Ivy League school and you graduate, okay, really intelligent. And then you come here and you're getting a secondary degree at Duke. You're walking off campus after your baseball career is over and you are set.
2-1 pitch. That's a called strike. Home plate umpire today is Greg Harmon. That was just the 3rd time Duke has gone back-to-back this season. And that's called strike 3. Today, Carson Garner, and there's Dom Decker in the 4 hole. He had the best day of anybody on the field yesterday, not named Kyle Johnson. Had 4 hits, drove in a couple of runs. And speaking of Kyle Johnson, moves from center field to the mound today. Sophomore left-hander. Has a 4-3 record, an ERA of 6.3. Has had an interesting season when it comes to pitching.
Yeah, started out the season, had a little bit of a dead arm, and totally normal, but you have to work through it, and so the numbers are a little bit higher than they should be. He's thrown well, gone down to the bullpen, worked out of there, and then last week gets the Athens start. And so here we are, curious to watch how yesterday we talked to Dan Skirka with Murray State, and their team was just fatigued and exhausted after a hot day yesterday on the field. Let's keep an eye on Kyle Johnson because he had a big day on the field and at the plate. Let's see how his legs hold up throughout this game.
Yeah, he had some cramping yesterday. Boy, this is smashed by Hogart. Leads off the game with a home run on the first pitch. 7th leadoff home run this year for Jonathan Hogart. That is the most in the country. He had 1 in the regional opener against Ole Miss. Does it again here. And it's 2-1.
When you know a guy is going and trying to ambush you, you have to be very careful. You're not throwing a first pitch fastball. That's what he wants. Johnson throws him a first pitch fastball, inner part of the plate, and Hogart hammers it.
First extra base hit for Murray State in this Super Regional. And this is Dustin Mercer in an 0-2 count. So Hogarth now, 4 of his last 5 home runs have come on the first pitch. And that's going to be a base hit for Dustin Mercer, his 3rd of the Super Regional. Was 2 for 5 yesterday, trying to leg out an extra base, and he is safe. Duke didn't get it into the infield quick enough. Mercer takes advantage. He's at second with nobody out.
This is what Mercer does. They have their bat in the zone for a long time. He drags it through on a slider. Looks like a routine single. A little bit of a bobble. Mercer has his head up, and when he's running down to first base, he is paying attention to what's going on in the outfield. Never takes his eyes off of this. As soon as he sees that ball bounce, he's off.
Well, this is the kind of energy we saw from Murray State in the regional. As Carson Garner comes to the plate here, 0 for 3, couple of walks yesterday. 58 walks on the season, second most in the Missouri Valley. $16 home runs for Garner, 56 runs batted in. And that's down. 2 balls and a strike to Garner. Veteran from Franklin, Tennessee. He's been in Murray State his entire career. And look at those numbers, pretty solid. OPS over 1,000. Down and in, and now 3-1 as Johnson is trying to settle in and get that first out. And missed, walked him. So Hogarth homers, Mercer singles and takes second on an error, and Garner walks. And here comes Dom Decker, who had 4 hits yesterday. Dan Skirka, Missouri Valley Coach of the Year, 40 years old, former Racers assistant, came back after a stop at Walters State and has done remarkable things with this program. 5 straight years of 30-plus wins, a record 42 wins this year. And this Murray State team today, at least offensively through the first 3 hitters, appears more dialed in.
They're off to a great start and a great answer. Wondering how they were going to do with the 2 big home runs in the top of the first. And they have responded well.
By the way, that error in center field on A.J. Gracia that allowed Mercer to take second base, the first error for Duke in the NCAA tournament. The last errors came against Florida State in the ACC tournament as Decker fouls it off. Dom Decker 4 for 5, couple of RBIs yesterday. Their leading hitter, 357, no homers, 43 runs batted in. 2 on, nobody out. That's way outside. Kyle Johnson won his last 2 starts, beat Georgia Tech in the last ACC regular season series. Got the win in Athens, beating Georgia. Now struggling. 2-1.
I'm watching Decker's reactions to these sliders that are starting in the zone and then diving out. And he's almost like he knows it's coming. The way he's taking these sliders that are reasonably close.
2-1 pitch to Decker. That's upstairs, 3-1. Brady Kirkpatrick has already made a mound visit. And I wonder if Duke would think about sending somebody out to the bullpen here in the first. And there's another walk. Back-to-back walks to Garner and Decker. And now the bases are loaded for the Racers here in the first inning. Decker has now reached in 40 straight games and 55 of the 57 games overall this year for Murray State. What a terrific response by the Racers. Getting down 2-0 in the first, and now here is Mastoni. Luke Mastoni, the first baseman, junior from Upland, California, transfer from Cal State Fullerton. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI sac fly yesterday. Liner down the line and foul into the bullpen, which is now active for Duke.
That last walk sent the bullpen down there scrambling.
And is Gabe Nard, a right-hander, just beginning to loosen up. Still nobody out. Hit hard and past Miller into left field. Here comes Mercer to score. And now the game is tied. Another ball barreled up. Luke Mastoni with his 52nd run batted in.
Every one of these guys so far has just been dialed in. Slider down and in, drops ahead of the bat, gets it by a diving Miller.
And now this is Will Vierling. Vierling, the catcher, 1 for 4 yesterday, the left-handed hitter out of Wisconsin. You know, we saw Murray State jump out to an early lead yesterday, but lacked the big hit. To see Luke Mastoni get a hit there with runners in scoring position, that has to tickle Dan Skirka's heart, because so many times yesterday they had traffic, just couldn't drive the big hit. And now here's another line drive to right. That's going to get down in front of Albright. Here comes Garner to score as Murray State goes station to station. And it's now 3-2 as Kyle Johnson still is looking for the first out of the inning, and he may not get out of the first.
These balls are squared up. There's no doubt. And I mean, they almost had to play at the plate right here at a force out. The ball's hit so hard to right field. These guys are right on time everything. I mean, I'm looking out and I'm trying to see if Kyle Johnson's doing something to give away his pitches, because Murray State is on everything. They are on time on everything. And Kyle Johnson's in the low 90s, got a good slider. The batting averages against everything he has are below 200 on every pitch. So what I'm seeing is just a red flag for me as an old pitcher of going, okay, they are on time everything. Their takes are really, really good. Something's going on.
Gabe Nard appears to be ready down in the bullpen. I think we're just waiting for another appearance from Brady Kirkpatrick. We'll see if Kyle Johnson pitches to Dan Tocken. Tocken is the RBI leader for Murray State with 73. Picked up RBI number 73 yesterday, driving in the first run with a sac fly. And Johnson will pitch to him. And that one's high and inside. Dan Tocken, big veteran left fielder, 259, 10 homers, and 73 big runs batted in. Big swing and a miss, 1-1. The wind is blowing out again today. It's a gentle breeze, but it's out to right center field. And now 1-2. You see the flagpole, it's blowing out. And there's Johnson getting the first out on a strikeout of Dan Tocken. That was pretty impressive. Made quick work of the 7-hole hitter for the first out. Now bring up Nico Bermeo, the DH.
Kyle Johnson just flat had enough. That was the best he's looked. One fastball up out of the zone, and this one he gets down, gets through, and drives it to the bottom of the zone.
Nico Bermeo 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday as the DH. transfer from Division III Aurora University. He's a Chicago native. This is just his 12th start of the year. So Murray State scored 42 runs in winning the Oxford Regional, managed only 4 runs yesterday. That was their lowest scoring game in 11 games. This is more the prototypical offense we've come to know, especially in recent weeks for the Racers.
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, the Hogard home run, yeah, that's kind of normal, but this is not a home run hitting team. This is a batting average. These guys are 5th in the nation in doubles. They are a line drive, gap-to-gap team, and you are seeing it on full display right now against a kid that will touch 95. These guys are just locked in.
Eighth man to hit in the inning. The 1-2 to Bermeo. Ball gets away. Because of first base being occupied, that's going to be back-to-back strikeouts for Kyle Johnson. And now the Duke crowd trying to get behind Johnson. A little wind in his sails to get him out of this inning.
This might be what Kyle Johnson needed. I mean, it's not what he needed, but he might have just kicked in back into relief mode where he goes, you know what, I probably got one more hitter. And he's just gone into a sprint where it's like driving fastballs down, not trying to nibble, getting ahead, pounding the zone.
9-hole hitter Connor Cunningham, Missouri Valley Conference co-freshman of the year. At the plate here with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Hit on the hands, foul back, 2 strikes. And Chris Pollard always seems to kind of have the same look on his face, whether it's going good, whether it's not so good.
He's on a roller coaster right now. I mean, his 2 main dudes go deep. He's up 2-0. He's like, sweet. And then all of a sudden, Kyle Johnson's not effective for the first 6 hitters. And there goes the roller coaster down the hill.
Struck him out. Score down and get to Omaha. Need one more win to do it. Scored 2 right away in the first inning on back-to-back homers, but what a response from Murray State. Now this is Tyler Albright leading off the second for Duke. He'll fly to left. Tocken puts it away, and Isaac Silva quickly gets the first out.
Oh, we were talking in between innings about what kind of lift it feels like when your offense comes out real early in the game, and I was like, I don't know how Kyle Johnson's going to do, but Silva's like, that was a load off of his back. They woke up, he gave up 2 big home runs, and he's probably feeling like, oh no, end of the road here. And then the offense wakes up and gives him a 3 spot.
Here's the DH Sam Harris. He was over 3 in the ball game yesterday. Urbandale, Iowa native. That's a suburb of Des Moines. Only had 4 at-bats last year, but a critical component to this year's team. And he hits a screamer to second. Stopped by Decker from his knees. Gets up and throws out Harris. That was hit hard. But Murray State has played exceptional defense. No errors yesterday. And a .978 fielding percentage. Tops in the Missouri Valley.
Coach Pollard made a point to say why Harris is in the lineup and not Kyle Johnson. His numbers against right-handed pitchers sitting .330 off of right-handed pitchers and only .208 versus lefties. But when you got a sinker ball guy like Silva on the mound, man, you are on your toes in the infield. You are ready for a whole bunch of ground balls, and really nice play right there by Decker.
So there's Eric Tyler. He's the first base coach for Duke. Spending a little time with Macon Winslow, the catcher for the Blue Devils. Talented sophomore. I know you were impressed yesterday, Greg, about how he controlled the run game, blocked a lot of pitches that were low yesterday, and really contained the Murray State Racers on the base paths.
Really nice job behind the plate. A lot of leadership, a lot of, just little small moves like fist pumps, but his ability to block the ball and keep it in front was a big piece of the pie yesterday.
274, 7 and 45 runs batted in. Fouled off. He's been Duke's everyday catcher all season. Had a couple of walks yesterday, scored twice. That was the thing. Of the 8 walks Duke had yesterday, 4 of those walks scored. It's inside, 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom of the lineup, 7, 8, 9, were combined 0 for 7. But 8 and 9, Winslow and Berger both got on twice with walks. Harris got on by hit by pitch.
Lincoln Winslow trying to work a 3-ball count here after getting behind. 3-1 to center, and that's going to get down for a hit. 2-out base knock by Macon Winslow, and I think that was the discussion between Winslow and Eric Tyler there, just trying to slow Silva down after he got those 2 quick outs, Greg.
That's exactly what it was. 2 quick outs, guys getting in a rhythm. We don't want to see that. Little offensive timeout. Talked probably about 3 seconds about the offensive game plan right there, but that was just a stall tactic to get Silva off his game.
And now Duke at the 9 spot in the order with Jake Berger, the second baseman. Another grad transfer. He was at Harvard last year. He's the team captain for the Crimson, a Boston native. And has been the everyday starter at second base. He's 0 for 2, as Greg mentioned, a couple of walks, a couple of runs scored. Winslow away from first. And a breaking ball comes in for Silva for strike 1.
That's going to be the key against these type of hitters that are really make you work in the zone. You have to land something off speed, something other than a fastball when you are behind in the count. And a nice job by Silva with a little backdoor slider.
The 1-1. He went around. That single by Winslow. The second not extra base hit of the super regional for Duke. 5 of their 6 hits yesterday were extra base hits. And a couple of home runs so far today, 1 from Gracia and 1 from Miller. Called strike 3. Fastball, but it's up and out of the zone to Jonathan Hogard, who hit a first pitch fastball into left field for a home run his last time out. 7th leadoff home run of the season for Hogard. And here it is.
I mean, this is in the scouting report. This is the MO of this guy. He is going to ambush you early in the count. You have to do something different than throw him a fastball. That's why I said I'm going to be shocked if this is a fastball, and it was, but it missed badly.
Well, the next 2 miss as well. It's 3-0 here to Hogard. Johnson threw 32 pitches in the first inning and faced 9 hitters. And there he buries a strike. It's 3-1. Hogard to be followed by Mercer and Garner here in the second inning. As Murray State, its first ever super regional appearance. Hogard walks to start the second inning. That is the 3rd walk already allowed by Kyle Johnson. You know, we saw Gabe Nard up in the bullpen in the first inning. It's quiet now, but, you know, what is the leash for a guy like Kyle Johnson? How long do you let him go when it's obvious that he's having control issues?
Not very long. I got maybe 2 more guys. Gabe Nard got hot. He was ready to come into this game. So knowing how relievers work, this is going to be quick, short. He could probably take less than 10 pitches to be hot and walk into this game.
Dustin Mercer, a single his first time up. 3 hits in the super. One of the hottest players in the country the last couple of weeks. Was great in Oxford. Most outstanding player. Had 10 hits, 6 runs batted in there. The 1-1. And this is lifted, and it's going to get out of play. He was also the MVP of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. 9 for 18, drove in 7 runs in that championship. So Dustin Mercer has been hotter than a firecracker here in late May and into June.
Dan Skirka said the last couple of weeks he has been the best player on the field every day that he's walked out there.
4th year at Murray, Transfer from Virginia Tech. The 2-2 pitch. Got him. Now Kyle Johnson, who struck out the side in the first despite giving up 3 runs. It's another one here. Carson Garner, a walk and a run scored in the first inning. Garner has 46 career homers, 16 this year. That's second all-time at Murray State for home runs in a career. He's also second in career runs batted in. This guy is a big part of what Murray State has been in the last 4 years. Snap throw over to first. Murray State shared the Valley regular season title with Missouri State, won the league tournament, and then beat the number 10 national seed Ole Miss twice, and the ACC regular season champ Georgia Tech and Oxford to get to this point. The pitch swung on and missed. 1-1. A little off speed there to even up the count.
A rare changeup. Here's some splits for you, Clay. When Kyle Johnson is behind in the count, which is 1-0, 2-1, etc., opponents are hitting 300 on the year. When he is ahead in the count, opponents are hitting 138. So very important for him to find strike one and get ahead early.
2-1 to Carson Garner. Dom Decker on deck. Oh, more. This one is hammered to left. Deep. And this is in the pine trees. Goodbye home run. 2-run shot for Carson Garner. His 17th of the year. And it's 5-2. And that might be it for Kyle Johnson.
Johnson tried to go back to that changeup again. And there is one place you cannot ever throw a changeup, and that is at the belt. That ball gets hit a long way every time. You rarely get a baseball back after leaving a changeup up at the belt.
Well, Johnson's going to start the at-bat here to Dom Decker. And look at that Murray State bench. This is what we did not see yesterday. It was a pretty quiet dugout most of the day for the Racers.
Well, they got their 9 hits. It was just 9 singles. They could get nothing in the gap.
And only once went back-to-back.
Yeah. It's really struggled with runners in scoring position. Of course, other than Dom Decker.
Decker walked and was stranded at third in the first inning, as Murray State left the bases loaded despite scoring 3 times. 4 hits yesterday for Decker. This one's fouled off. 2-2. So Decker has reached in 40 straight. As Murray State now has a couple of home runs here in the Super. Hogart and now Garner.
Dan Skirka is pushing the edge of you have to be in the dugout for the whole game. He is on that top step, toes right to the edge of the turf almost every game. He's right there.
3-2, chopped. Second base, charging here is Berger. He'll flip to first for the second out. So Decker is retired. And, you know, Dan Skirka, he wears number 9 on his uniform to honor his late brother, Justin. That was Justin's number when he was a player as a young man, and they were tight. One of 4 boys in that family, and it's a nod to his late brother, who he knows is watching today. 2 outs to Luke Mastoni. Puts the ball in play immediately. Ben Miller on the backhand, low throw. Again, he's got a tender right hand. Game 2 of the Durham Super Regional. Duke took game one yesterday 7-4. Murray State in a do-or-die situation leading 5-2 as we move to the third inning. And back to the top of the order, Wallace Clark teeing off. Wallace Clark, goodbye home run. Duke's senior captain is 9th of the year. Third home run Isaac Silva has given up here today.
Talked about where Silva needs to live. He needs to be down at the knees. When a sinker baller is elevated, leaves it up around the belt, it tends to get flat and stays on plane. That ball was staying right on plane, and Clark just smoked it.
That fan has the baseball, a souvenir, as A.J. Gracia comes to the plate for the second time. Gracia homered his first time up against Silva.
It's supposed to go the other way around, isn't it? The kid's supposed to get the ball from the older guy.
Yeah, you'd think. Maybe he's just protecting him for him.
Yeah, he knows that ball's going to end up getting played and catch out in the outfield. And
so here's Gracia, who served that one-game suspension yesterday after being ejected in the regional final for that home run prop on the field. Came back with a vengeance in his first plate appearance. Talked about his great second half for Duke. He was hitting under 200 in early April, but over the last 31 games or so has raised his average about 200 points. 2-2 from Silva. Didn't mean to. Easy play for Silva for the first down. Trying to check his swing and couldn't.
So Silva all year long. Sinker ball guys keep the balls, ground balls everywhere. He's only given up 6 home runs in the 76 innings. Today he has given up 3 in 2 innings of pitch, 2 1/3.
Now Ben Miller hit his 21st of the year, his first time up, and against the shift, there's a hole on the right side he could have driven a truck through. Lays one out there for a base hit. So he's aboard with one out for Jake Hyde.
This is just a great piece of hitting, and Coach Pollard talked about it. He goes up there of the game plan every at bat. He walks up to that plate and he sees that they had shifted to the pull side, gets a sinker down, and just the swing was just one of carving it to right field. And that was all his intention, was just a routine ground ball to where second base used to be.
Now the defense back to its conventional ways as Jake Hyde comes up. Strikeout victim of Silva's back in the first inning. Jake Hyde also got out to a slow start this year. First month of the season was hitting under 200, 294 coming into the game today. Wrap to first. Stoney's going to go to second. They'll get one there, and double play in time. And that's going to end the inning. It looks like Duke wants a challenge.
If you look at the numbers, we got a lot of left-handed hitters, and Silva gets slugged on the fastball, and I thought we did a great job in the first. AJ coming out and getting in a 1-0 count and being on time with a fastball, and then Ben Miller right behind him on time with a fastball. So we've taken some good swings on the fastball today. We forced him to have to go to that slider more, but we've got to stay ready when we get fastballs and fastball counts.
What's it mean to have AJ back in the lineup?
Yeah, so he's looked pretty good. You know, and I know he's excited and he deserves this moment. He's such a great kid and such a great player. It's nice to see him back on the field in this spot.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Coach.
You bet.
Coach Chris Pollard. So Johnson still battling here. And this is going to be a big first out. The 0-2 pitch. Lifted into left field. And there's Ben Rounds to put it away as Will Vierling is retired. That'll bring up Dan Tockett. Kyle Johnson has not had a shutdown inning yet.
No, that's the first leadoff guy he's gotten out. So good start. I mean, there's been two versions of Kyle Johnson. One where it's just.
He's talking, wrapping to second. And Berger throws him out on one pitch.
But there's been two versions, and as one gets into attack mode like we saw at the end of the first inning with 7, 8, 9 guys and punched out, and it was just dominant. And then there's the other guy that, like last inning, gets a strikeout, and then the big home run, he gets ambushed. So it seems to be a little bit maybe of a focus issue of a pitch to pitch. You know, you got to be locked in for every pitch that you make because damage can happen on any time.
Well, this is a part of the order that Kyle Johnson actually did okay against in the first inning, that 3-run first. He struck out Bermeo after getting Tocken on strikes, and then also struck out Cunningham in the 9-hole. Nico Bermeo 0 for 1. Again in the designated hitting role today for Murray State, and it's a ball and a strike. Owen Prooks picked up the win yesterday. The Duke starter in game 1 went 5 2/3, and he battled at times, and that's what we're seeing Kyle Johnson do here. Breaking ball 1 and 2.
Yeah, Prooks was really good. 115 pitches, just finally ran out of gas. But really good left-handed arms at the top of this Duke rotation.
But Prooks was behind on the scoreboard too early as the Racers scored a couple of runs in the first few innings. We're going to talk to Dan Skirka coming up between innings. It's upstairs, 2 and 2. Dan Skirka has a 9-year-old son, Keegan, who's been the life of the party here in Durham this weekend. I think it would be fun to interview him, to be honest. 2-2, that's in the turf.
When we had him on camera yesterday, he looked like he was a little edgy as the game was going on. Took us 5 innings to find him with all the cameras that we have here.
Johnson got the first 2 outs fairly easily here in the third. Now 3 and 2 to Bermeo. That's chop foul. Kyle Johnson has pitched well enough to avoid Duke needing to go to the bullpen early in this ballgame, even though Gabe Nard has been up 2 innings in a row. 3-2 pitch. Popped up down the line. Long run for Jake Hyde, the first baseman. Nobody's going to get there. Tyler Albright didn't have a chance to get there as well.
Now this is where Kyle Johnson needs to go into professional mode. Okay, you can't do anything about the 5 runs you've given up, but you can put together some innings, get out of here, make this a respectable start, and save your bullpen from having to come in the 3rd or 4th inning.
Now Max Stammel is poised in that bullpen. There's Gabe Nard. He has been loose for a while. 3-2. Chopper back to Johnson. This is the inning the lefty was looking for. Goes 1, 2, 3 in the 3rd. A record 42 this year. 2 wins away from Omaha. This program has never been to the College World Series. Got 1 win away in 1979 under the legendary coach Johnny Reagan, back when they were still called the Thoroughbreds.
Or the Breads to their friends. Saw a couple Breads shirts walking around here.
Kind of like him. Ball and a strike to the leadoff man, Ben Rounds for Duke here in the 4th inning. It's Rounds, Albright, and Harris, 5, 6, and 7. Duke has 5 hits. All of their runs have come on solo homers. One by Gracia, one by Miller, and one by Clark. Ben Rounds was a strikeout victim in the first inning. He went down looking to end the first. Again, he moves to the 5-hole today. He was in the 2 spot yesterday when Gracia was out on suspension. Ground ball to second. Dom Decker pats his glove a couple of times, throws over to first. 1 away.
Silva got him on a backdoor slider back in the first. This one, he tries to make the same pitch, leaves the slider out over, but gets a nice routine ground ball to second base.
So one out for Tyler Albright, who's had an excellent junior season after a tough injury-plagued sophomore year. That kept him out of the lineup most of the year. He only had 11 starts in 2024. And that was coming off a really good freshman season. You might remember a couple of years ago, he was great in the NCAA tournament, made the Conway All-Regional team, had a 3-hit game in the Super Regionals at Virginia, and has been in the lineup just about every game this year. Comes into this at bat hitting right around 300. The 0-2, and shifting over toward the bag is Decker, so he had that played perfectly. Scouting report was beautiful there, defending Albright. 2 up, 2 down.
Yep, slider down and away. Albright gets out there and hooks it back up the middle. Think it would be a base hit, but nice job of shifting over to second base.
And here comes Sam Harris. He had the game-winning RBIs in the regional final in Athens. And the designated hitter back in the lineup today. We actually, thought maybe because of what Kyle Johnson did yesterday, he would stay in the lineup just to keep his bat in there, but they just love Sam Harris, the DH.
Yeah, really good numbers against right-handed pitching. They wanted him back in the lineup again today. Light tower power, as good a raw power as anybody this program's had.
Behind in the count, 0-2 is Isaac Silva. He's trying to have a shutdown inning, and he does. He hops off the mound as Murray State has a ton of confidence right now. Trying to push this to a 3rd game on Monday.
For that first the 2 home runs in the first inning, great answer. Kyle Johnson was probably on his last hitter about 2 innings ago. Last inning, same thing. You can see short leash. Here we go again.
Connor Cunningham leads off the 4th inning out of the 9-hole with a base hit to center. That is the first hit for the Super Regional for Cunningham. And the 6th hit today for the Racers. Back to the top of the order in Hogarth.
Just 1 through 9 with Murray State. The Racers have their bats in the zone for a long time. Nice flat plane swings, not trying to do too much. That might be the end of the day for Kyle Johnson. Top of the lineup, rolling back around.
Brady Kirkpatrick in his 3rd year as pitching coach for Duke. Helped Duke get to the Supers in 2023 in his 1st year. Has been terrific with the staff of the Blue Devils. And it appears Gabe Nard, who has been warming up since the 1st inning, is finally going to make an appearance here in the 4th with a man on and nobody out. We're going to step aside. Pitching change in Durham, our first of the day. Game 2, it's 5-3 Murray. Bullpen, a guy they really trust, so no surprise they go to him here.
Well, I talked about the Racers, flat plane swings on time. You counter that with a guy that's a sinker slider guy, bottom of the zone, and you try to get some depth on those sinkers, get some ground balls on these great contact hitters.
And he's got a tough hitter to get out. First man he's going to face, Jonathan Hogarth. Cunningham's at first. Nobody out. Hogarth, a home run, a walk, 2 runs scored. Hogarth hit 400 in Oxford last weekend, had 3 homers there and 6 runs batted in. So he has 4 homers here in the NCAA tournament. Transfer from Louisiana Tech. He pitches outside, so 3-0 for Nard, who spent 3 innings warming up in the bullpen. Finally gets on the mound here and is trying to dial in.
I mean, it's an art to being down there for multiple innings and warming up. You got to conserve. You got to understand when to get hot, when just to kind of play a little bit of catch and keep moving. it really is hard to gauge, because as a young player, you really want to get hot and stay hot and keep firing and firing. And if you're down there for 3 or 4 innings.
There he goes. He buries one in at the knees to come back and fill out the count.
Yep, that's that sinker at the bottom of the zone. And the good sinker ball guys just start it in the middle of the plate and let it work down and into right-handed hitters.
3-2 to Hogard. Nard looking for a ground ball, gets it there, but it's foul. Duke used a couple of relievers yesterday. Mark Hindy got the last out in the 6th, struggled in the 7th, so they brought in Reed Easterly, the closer, and he got a 3-inning save, 3 beautiful shutout innings. His bullpen pretty well rested. Gabe Nard, one of the rare right-handers out of the Duke bullpen. The litany of lefties. Here again is the 3-2, misses down and away, and Hogart walks for the 2nd time. So 2 on, nobody out, and Dustin Mercer, who has 3 hits in the Super Regional, coming to the plate.
Fielder number 10, Dustin Mercer.
Dan Skirka and Murray State believing they can force a game 3 here today. It's chopped foul. Super's a best of 3 round. You see Mercer 1 for 2. That catches the inside corner for Nard.
And that's what Nard's gotten really good at this year, is front door sinkers to left-handed hitters. So this ball starts in off the plate. You get that kind of a look, you freeze them.
It's down low, blocked up by Winslow. Mercer doesn't have any home runs this year. A terrific batting average. Hitting .354. 38 runs batted in. Pulled foul. Mercer also pitches. He's made a couple of appearances this season. We talked to Dan Skirka about that, and he said very unlikely. We know what his best attributes are, and we're going to play to those this weekend. The outfield and hitting. Comebacker. Base hit into center field. Cunningham around 3rd. And he will score without a throw. Murray State, the hits just keep on coming. It's now 6-3 Racers. As Hogart will stop at 2nd. So 2 on, still nobody out for Garner.
Number 8, Carson Garner.
Thought he might go back to that sinker in the front door, and this one he leaves out over the plate. Mercer right on time, takes it right back up the box. RBI single. If you're thinking that they're going to play small ball and bunt, Clay, they only have 7 sacrifice bunts on the year, so that's not their game.
So here is Garner. A walk and a run scored in the 1st, a 2-run homer in the 2nd. His 17th of the year, now has 58 runs batted in. This guy's been really good in the 3-hole this year, Greg.
Yes, he has. 2nd all-time at Murray State with 46 home runs. Leads the team in walks this year, has really cut back on the big swings. Got to find a way to get on base. Seems to be kind of like the motto of most of this lineup.
Gabe Nard still looking for his 1st out since coming out of the pen here in the 4th inning. Gets a chopper to the right side. This could be a tough play. Snared by Berger. His throw in time to get Garner. Boy, that was not easy. Hogart goes to 3rd. Mercer to 2nd on the play. Duke is able to get the out. Now here comes Dan Skirka. He may want a review.